Hey Nathan, remember that time I pulled the fire alarm so that you can get out of jail?
Yeah, I got 6 more months for that.
But you had plenty of time to read the Harry Potter books.
Fuck, yeah, I guess you're right.
Welcome into the Bro Force Squad podcast, and we are here to review the third episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have the American hero himself with me today, and I'm Brian Banner. So let's get right into it with our Bro Force Squad criteria. Like I said, we're reviewing episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier called Power Broker. So Thurman, what'd you think? Acting and cast.
Um, Acting and cast in this, so not as much as a playful buddy cop dynamic between Sam and Bucky this episode, which was expected just the way this is going. Hopefully they'll get back to a little bit just to add some levity in the next couple episodes. But other than that, one of the things that kind of stuck out. She kind of had a minor role in this, but I'm really excited about Erin Kellyman as Carly Morgenthau in this, and seeing like where that whole thing goes, as she's kind of, I guess more or less kind of pulling the strings for the Flag Smashers, or that's kind of what it seems. I know.
I still think she's reporting to somebody, but we'll get into that
Yeah,
more in story.
and that's kind of where I was just thinking. But yeah, we'll get to that there. But yeah, I think she's doing a really great job of
I think
playing
she is going
playing
to
in
have
that
a
role.
yeah, I think she's going to have a long career in
Mhm.
Hollywood. Just after her role in Solo, which again was a kind of a minor role, and then now this. I know she's done a couple other things, but yeah, I really like how she's playing this very. I don't know if methodical is the right word, but she's very focused on what she needs to do, and she knows why, and she truly believes what she's doing is the most important thing, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, she's playing this revenge role really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, more or less, I mean, obviously she's doing a great job
But
in this so
you also
far.
empathize with her and understand, like,
Mhm.
yeah, kind of understand why you liked it how it was and kind of what's happening.
Yeah, and there's a great line she had in this in the car scene whenever they blew up the building, and she is basically saying they're going scorched earth now, because the guy, and there was like there were still people in there. He's like, that's the only thing these people understand. We're like,
Yeah.
all right, fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
We're
Shit
throwing some
just
fuel on this
got
fire.
real.
Yeah, but yeah, that line was very sinister, and the way she delivered it was great. But really adds a lot to her character and like what direction it's going. But yeah, overall, like you were saying, I think she'll have a great career after this. I'm excited to see where she goes after this and what roles she gets.
100%.
What about you?
I
Anything else on your side?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand out. Obviously, Daniel Burrell as Zemo. I
Yeah.
mean, this dude, he is the epitome of this character. Um, he's so good at his facial expressions, going like, I am reading between the lines, and I am going to use that to tear you guys apart, which is exactly what he did in Civil War. And now I
Hmm.
feel like he's doing that even better here, because I'm tearing you apart, but I'm also keeping you together because I'm helping you and we're all on the same team, but I still hate you guys.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job with that, and he's kind of having to play both sides of the fence at this point. And it's really funny because it kind of reminds me of his role in Inglourious Bastards, because
Yeah.
he's supposed to be this. Well, I was going to say all American. He's German, all German guy, um, and he's supposed to be like a national hero and all this kind of stuff. But then he has an underlining douchebag mentality that is revealed at the end of the movie. So there's kind of some similarities there, and he played them both great, and is kind of leaking over here and seeing that.
And the only other thing I want to talk about is Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter.
Hmm.
Um, Completely different character. Or she's being asked to play a completely different character than what she was asked in Winter Soldier and Civil War and the other movies. And I love this Sharon Carter. She is
Badass.
a badass, bitter bitch
Hmm.
and I mean that in the best way
That's a
possible.
compliment.
Yes. And Emily Van Camp again is just taking this role and owning it. Like, look, I am a badass. I feel like I was wronged, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make some fucking money while doing it. So, hats off to those three.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's move on to story here. So, according to IMDb, the plot synopsis is to find the source of the super soldier serum. Sam and Bucky must scale the ladder of low life, starting in Mandapore with Zemo. So, obviously, we have Bucky and Sam. They go to see Zemo. Spoilers: they end up breaking him out, and they go to this criminal underworld. Is it a city or a country or
I think it said island.
an island?
I think it's supposed to be modeled after like Singapore, is
Yeah,
what it's kind of looking
it
like.
kind of reminded me of like a modern day like Nassau pirate like city. You know,
Hmm.
where there is no law, but there's a code.
Yeah, it's very, very lawless. They've built the city up nice for being lawless.
Yeah, looks great.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was that many architects in the underworld.
It's a tough job. Doesn't pay well, but they get to look at their beautiful city. So
Yeah. And the mobsters don't kill them.
exactly.
Uh, so what'd you think of the story?
Um, yeah, I thought it was a good progression of where the season is going. Um, and yeah, it was kind of cool seeing them kind of work from the bottom and see that there's this structure, which you can obviously kind of guess it's there with the power broker and all this, and the serum, and getting to see Dr. Zola, who's had a few appearances in some other um, movies and instances, but really got a little more insight, which was cool, into the Flag Smashers. So apparently they have 20 of the serum now. And allegedly there weren't any in the shipping container that got blown up, but they did a little zooming in on a couple of those. Like, I think Zemo or someone may have grabbed one. So
I'm pretty sure that there's still some floating around out there.
yeah, and that may come up more in theories. Um, but started off, there were some pretty cool symbols and similes in the GRC commercial open, actually.
Yes.
So the globe that they had was like all these dots, and it was like small dots and then forming bigger, kind of the countries falling apart and then forming back together, and then also kind of a symbol of people coming back from the blip from dust and coming in and forming back. So um, kind of like going back to WandaVision, like everything in here means something.
Of
And so
course.
you just have to like pay attention to so much shit. But other than that, I'm trying to see what else. And then obviously we have the big reveal at the end with AO coming in um, and meeting Bucky for good reason. Probably wanted to kill Zemo, I'm assuming, for his mastermind plan of killing King Chaka previously. So I think she's kind of just giving Bucky a heads up at this point.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I really am digging the dynamic between Sam, Bucky, and Zemo. I alluded to it a little bit in
Hmm.
acting and casting, but they are. I can almost see I could honestly probably watch another 6 episodes of just these three running around doing their thing.
Yeah.
The way that Zemo can get under their skin in completely different ways,
Hmm.
but still not get under their skin so much where they're like, okay, we're just going to put you back in jail. Very, very cool dynamic. And obviously they know, hey, this is our only hope to stopping these super soldiers. And we have to deal with it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. They have a love-hate relationship at this point.
I don't even know
Um,
if there's love in there. I think it's just a hate, but necessary relationship.
Yeah. And to kind of dig into a few more finer things that I had found watching a few videos and stuff, going back to everything in there means something. But when you said it's justified for them working together and all this stuff, the the book that Zemo was reading was Machiavelli in the prison, and he is where the famous saying, "The means justify the end," comes from. So that's kind of what they're doing here. And then some other nerd zoomed in and actually saw the book, and this is actually pretty interesting. So thank you all the nerds out there doing this. On the book, on the cover, it said Da Vinci and Machiavelli. So wasn't just Machiavelli; it was kind of them as a friendship, like joining up and doing the book. So kind of, I'm thinking a symbolism of Zemo and Bucky getting together, or if Zemo has another person that he's working with, I don't know. But there's definitely something there that was pretty cool. And then one more thing to your point with Sharon Carter and being a fucking badass now in this. Writer of John Wick, Derek Kolstad, got credited in this episode. So you got a lot of those vibes in this fight scene, which it was honestly one of the more...
Which, if I'm not mistaken, he is a stuntman or a former stuntman. So when he writes... or I know the guy that directed John Wick. I think it's the same guy. Terrible podcasting because we don't actually know that. But he was a stuntman going into writing John Wick. So in his writing style, he knows how to write for those action scenes.
Makes sense. But yeah, well, what I was saying, not necessarily gory, but one of the more intense Marvel fight scenes. Like actually seeing a knife being pulled out of somebody.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of blood being shown now. Just getting a little darker.
Yeah. Not mad about it.
Yeah. And then the one last thing I'll throw in here, because it was at the beginning and I forgot to talk about it a second ago, but John Walker, starting to see him turn a little bit to the dark side.
Starting to?
The opening scene. Yes.
I don't know. I think he's already been there.
Well, I mean, there were shades of it in some of his dialogue, but now he's actually showing he's fucking
he's
angry.
Not hiding it anymore.
He's not going to be able to control his anger anymore. It's coming out.
Yeah.
So he's making that full turn now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he is total bad guy now. I don't think he is running the show, and I don't think he has as much power as he thinks he has.
Very true. Yeah, there was some dialogue that kind of pointed to that, like, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
Kind of shit.
So let's move on before we get any further down that rabbit hole. Best scene. What you got?
Well, it's kind of one I alluded to a second ago, but really, it was kind of one large scene, but more specifically, whenever Sharon Carter is fucking being a badass out there and taking the reins, basically saying, "Hey guys, we got some people. They're still in there doing their shit, interrogating Dr. Zola," and she's like, "Okay, fine. I guess I'm gonna have to show off for the cameras now," and knock out about 10 or 12 of these henchmen. But yeah, really cool, really well shot scene, and really cool choreographing of the fighting.
The way that it was filmed, running through the shipping crates, was incredible.
Yeah, that was a cool dynamic, and perfect place to put that for multiple reasons.
And this is gonna sound kind of weird, and I don't even remember what game it is, but there's one of those first-person shooter games. I don't remember if it was like Battlefield or Call of Duty. I'm sure they all have it, but there's a level that is just full of shipping containers like that, and I felt like I was playing that game in that scene a little bit, which was... I'm pretty sure
back in the day playing Halo, there might have been one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was one in Halo.
Yeah.
Or Mass Effect. Played the shit out of that too.
You say Mass Effect?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've ever gotten into that.
Yeah, never mind then.
Okay, well, to each their own. But yeah, that was probably the one that stuck out to me the most. Just the way it was shot, showcasing her skills and kind of getting into some of that serum stuff. So that was a really cool one.
I really like, and this is mainly just because I like scenes like this when they are explaining how they're going to do something, but you get to see it unfold as they're explaining it. And Bucky's like, well, I mean, if this were to happen, then this could happen. But if this also happened, then that could happen. And then all of a sudden, Sam's like, wait, what? And then here comes Zemo. So, and then you have this revelation that, what the fuck? Zemo's rich and has all these resources?
Yeah.
Like, it just completely turned Sam's world upside down right there. But I just really like how I really like scenes like that, like the Ocean's 11 movies. They do that a
Good
lot.
comparison. Yeah.
I think Ant-Man did it a little bit as well. So I really enjoy when scenes are shot and the story is told like that. Um,
It's
and I
kind of
thought
like
they
a,
did.
yeah, it's basically a montage of something, and then you have your own character explaining it and voicing over it,
Yeah.
which kind of draws you in. It doesn't like take you out of the scene because it's not just some random narrator.
And Sebastian Stan trying to sell it to Sam as like all hypothetical, like, well, maybe like we could, and then we could, even though like all of this has already been set in
In the back of
motion.
his mind, he's like, "Fuck, Zemo's about to walk in. I better
Yeah.
talk a little faster so I can get through this."
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. Meat and potatoes time. Theories or questions? Lay one on me.
Let's do it. So this is kind of, I'll just throw this one out there. It's kind of a small one, low hanging fruit, but whenever Bucky goes full Winter Soldier again in the bar in Mandori, some of the patrons are pulling out the camera phones and all this. So that is going to probably come and bite him in the ass later. And what it's probably going to do, my theory and guess on this one, is that it's going to give John Walker the fuel he needs to kind of
Sure.
justify using brute force against him.
I agree.
So that's kind of where I think that's kind of the pinnacle of where this is heading.
He
And that'll
has
probably
more
come
or
back
less just violated his parole or one
yeah,
of his terms for being
bingo.
released. He has to do a therapy, can't hurt anybody, and I don't know, there's a couple other things too. But I agree. I think that that is going to give John Walker the ammo he needs to try and eliminate Winter Soldier. I mean, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Are we going to get. There is a potential. Well, we know there's going to be a fight there because we know Sam wants to take the shield,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So this is, yeah, it's going to come to a head. It's got to.
Yeah, and yeah, that's going to be one of those things that starts popping up on news channels that we're going to see in the show, and be like, oh, that's where that's from.
Um, yeah, I really like that theory. I still think that Carly Morgenthau is not running the show. I still think she is reporting to somebody else. Until I'm proven wrong, I am going to say it is John Walker's wife. Because why have that scene when we first meet John Walker of them in the locker room and her like kind of bucking him up and being that emotional support for him? You know, hey, look, yeah, you can do this. I know you can. But then on the flip side, if she's also running the other side of the show with Carly Morgenthau,
Mm,
me and
that could be
Jeff
rough.
had a argument on age there, but
Yeah, we weren't able to ever conclusively say what his wife's age was.
I believe so, which it doesn't
Yeah,
matter because I know I'm right anyway. So there's
yeah.
that.
I think she. Yeah, I think she's. Well, Carly is playing a little younger than she is, maybe. Um, Not to sound creepy. Hold on, I just looked at her IMDb like earlier today, and
She's like
she's
23,
23. Yeah, she was
22,
born in
23.
'98. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, maybe
Uh,
a little younger.
I also don't think. Well, it would make sense that the power broker is behind it all, right?
Yeah, not
With
working with
his
Carly.
obsession, with like the perfect human and the super soldier serum and all of
Mhm.
that, it would make sense with all the vaccines that they stole in a previous episode that the Flag Smashers stole to give to whoever. It would make sense that he's at the head of the Flag Smashers.
That would be weird because in the episode they're worried about the power broker coming after them because they stole the serum.
But they stole it from him.
So they stole from their boss, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yes. They
I hadn't
crossed
thought I
him.
hadn't thought of it
So the
that way.
Flag Smashers, in their mind, they are the good guys, right? Which everybody in their own story is the good guy. But
Yeah.
they are doing it. They realize what Power Broker is doing and go, this is wrong. We're going to take it into our own hands, even though that may not be the best course of action. I think we're dealing with three teams here. good guys, the bad guys, and the really bad guys.
So, are the good guys are Bucky and Sam. The bad guys are
The
John
flag
Walker.
smashers.
Oh,
And
never
then the
mind.
really bad guy is the power broker.
The power
Yeah,
broker.
John Walker, I would say he's like just a guy. He's just there. I don't think I really don't. I think he's just so full of his own ego. I don't know that he's a good guy or a bad guy. I think he's literally just getting in the way at times. And I'm
Yeah,
probably going to be wrong about that, but
we're gonna be wrong about a lot of things.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What else you got?
So yeah, going back to, I mean, the power broker. We obviously don't know who that is yet. We theorized about it, and there's wild speculation going on the internet. Obviously, in the comic books, it was Curtis Jackson. If they stick to that,
Which
could
I
be
haven't
him.
heard that name come up in the series yet,
No.
unless I missed it. But
So with this episode being named Power Broker, it would kind of hint that we're going to get a little more insight into that, which we really didn't on who it is, unless we did see the person, but we just weren't told that they were them.
we just don't know that they're that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know there's a huge theory going on out there that Sharon Carter is actually the power broker. Now, I don't think she is. I think she's involved, and I think she's a pawn. So she's kind of gone to a life of crime now, and I think she's delved into the underbelly of Mandori at this point. I don't think she's a power broker. I know a lot of people are saying that. I just think she's another cog in the machine. I mean, she's just used as a badass assassin to go out and kill people when they need to be killed. So power brokers still don't know, really don't have any theories on that. But Sharon Carter, I think, is involved, but she's not at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, I think that we know. Well, obviously, we know that she has turned to a life of crime, and I think in that she had to report to somebody, right? Everybody's
Yeah.
got a boss. So, yes, I think she is a pawn, or she is working for the power broker, and she helped Sam and Bucky against his wishes, or he may not have known, because the last time we see her, she goes, "We have a big problem on our hands." And
Mm-hmm.
that, I believe, is, well, she has been seen helping them now, and maybe she shouldn't have, because she's
Yeah.
a product of the power broker. I don't know. I definitely think there's something there. I don't think she is the power broker, but
Nah, I don't think so either.
I definitely think she is involved in some capacity, and maybe she was working for him to try and gather intel, and if she has enough good stuff on him, that maybe she will get pardoned and be able to come back to the United States.
Yep.
So that's her motivation for what she's doing there.
I think that makes total sense. I really hadn't pieced that together yet, but yeah, that would make 100%. 100%. That I was going to start a sentence and finish it, and it wasn't going to
Yeah,
make
that's
sense.
fine. I'll just keep
That
going now.
makes sense 100%. Because yeah, she's really pushing for that pardon. So if she's working with them and can get some dirt and get that, that's probably her main goal.
Now, my next question is, I think with all that being said and her turning to a life of crime, we can assume Sharon Carter did not blip away, correct?
Mm-hmm. Because she's established,
Yes.
and this is
And
taking place.
6 months after the
I was gonna say
blip?
6, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Now what about Zemo? He didn't seem he didn't seem like he had been rotting in a jail for, at that point, would have been probably 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have 5 years of the blip, and then he was in since Civil War, which was maybe 2 years before the events of Infinity War.
Yeah.
So, but also he's just such like a calm, cool, and collected badass. Maybe he was sitting in there for 7 years.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get a read off of him at
Yeah.
all.
So
I
I
don't.
don't
I
know.
don't think he did blip out. I think it probably would have been mentioned at this point.
I would. That's kind of what I was thinking. And how does he know all this shit though about where to start and go? If he's been in jail for this long, don't you think like contacts change? Like Sharon Carter's killed some people.
I mean, he's got people on the inside. He gets information, just like they pass the notes to get the fight started.
Yeah, I guess that's right. I guess when you're right, you're right. I don't really have a whole lot else after this, man.
No, that's about it. A ton of my brain power, and I'm just spinning my wheels is on the power broker and who that might be. So um, excited to see where that goes, but I don't got anything else.
Yeah, this episode was fun. I really enjoyed it. I feel like this really set us up. This put all the pieces in place for us to start knocking them down in the next or in the last 3 episodes. I mean, we're halfway through the series now, right? There's only 6 episodes. So they finally, in my opinion, got all the pieces set up where they can start knocking them down, give us the big reveal of who the power broker actually is, and then finish it out and move us on to the next property.
Yeah.
So great job. The season's flying by.
Yeah. So far, so good. But yeah, they got a few different plot threads going on right now with just what the Flag Smashers are doing, what John Walker's doing, Bucky, Zemo, and Sam are doing. We're probably going to see something maybe split off with Sharon, but ultimately everything that is behind this and driving it is the power broker. So it's all going to come to a head here shortly.
Yeah. All right. For the American Hero, I am the Mad Scientist. We are the Bro Force Squad podcast. You guys can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. Check out our website, www.broforcesquad.com.
That was a weird squad. Did you get your Boston accent in there?
I'm from Boston now. You know what I mean?
Let's not have another one of those.
Check out our Departed review. Commentary, excuse me, or Departed commentary. Guys, go to our website, check out everything we're doing on there with the squad vlogs. Till next time, we will go and break somebody else out of jail. Is that where Jeff's at tonight? Jail?
Yeah, he's doing a poetry reading.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, every Thursday at 2.